of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed in attaining all in that which is your need? To be heard by the real answerer of all deeds, the true hero of all whom pleads. Who of you really want to bow down to the true King of Kings commanding the crown? To worship the one that ever rules alone, commanding everything of creation from the seat of its throne.
Good evening and welcome to an A.H.A.D moment, the calm before the storm. I'm your host, Minister Idris Taha, and with me all we have our round panel, Brother Fakir Abdulaziz, Lord Holy-Apostle Deen, and Holy Queen Mother Rabbi Saleem. May Ahezaah's peace and other blessings be within about everyone's presence. And always we send a may Ahezaah's peace and other blessings being about your presence, those who watching the program out there in TV land. We thank Ahezaah much for always calling us together to sit around the message of Ahezaah and conversing about what's going on, the signs of the times today. One of the things we want to try to deal with this evening is dealing with the universality of this message. I know many people trying to figure out what is the community of A.H.A.D, what does A.H.A.D believe, and what is the universal religion of truth. And one thing Ahezaah have sent this thread through his message all the time from the Prophet Adam up to Holy Apostle Deen is that the religion has always been here. It's always been established, but it never really had a real name. People call it the path of the way, different times, the path that Allah sent down. And what happened, people have named the religion Christianity, Judaism, Islam now, and Allah said now, once they have put a name to it, the spirit and the reality have pretty much left or have gone away from the truth that Allah have sent down today. So we want you to sit back and enjoy this program and try to bring forth this message of the universality of this message that is here today, as it always been from the time of Adam up till now. With that being said, Lord Holy Apostle, Holy Queen.
Let me just,
sure.
I know I usually lay back and let you, someone else speak first, but you added Islam to that group of names, so I must interject and say that Ahezaah named the religion Islam. You know, we don't want to get lost from the, the meaning of words. Islam means the religion of peace or that of peace, you know. It's laid up into lamb, which means the lamb, L-A-A-M, means the all-knowing. Right. Okay, al-lamb. And this is like from, just like is from the definite article, you know, the all-knowing, actually, you know, the religion of the all-knowing. And the all-knowing is the one of peace. And we look at that as well as salam, is salam, you know, so it's like a conjunction Arabic word, ancient word, very old word, you know, that probably in the beginning of Muhammad's time or maybe before, it had those meanings, you know, drawn up together, you know, with those who know Arabic. That know the secret language, the divine language of the, like Aleph, Lam, Ra, you know, they know that Lam is the all-knowing, and that's in Islam, and as well as you know, as-salam, or as the definite article, the, and salam, you know, and Allah gave that to Muhammad as the name of the path of the way, because it had been called the path of the way for a long period of time, and people identified the path of the way with the prophets that came in the path of the way to deliver them their message, the message from the Lord El. And so people called it after those prophets up until the time of Moses, when they called it by the phrase of Yahuwah, El's names, Yahu-ah-ha, and the word and why, you know, it was all thrown up in there. When Moses, you know, made his exclamation about oh hue, oh essence, and guide, you know, to Allah, when he manifested, when it was manifested to him about Ahezaah inside that burning bush, you know, so those things are not to be lumped up with the name Islam, but at the same time, coming up into this day and time, Ahezaah gave to me for the people of the world to look at it as the universal religion of truth. In other words, uni meaning one,
Right.
versal meaning lettered, you know, Allah's word. Religion means way of life in truth. You
Right.
see, so it explained that to us, and we call it the universal religion of truth, you know, which is Islam,
Right.
which is the path of the way, you know, that was given to Adam and all the prophets, you know, Lao Tzu and whomever else, you know.
Lord, considering the title of the way, Islam, being the universal religion of truth now today.
Actually, the way is even shortened up. It's the chosen way of the Lord El. Okay, now.
Yeah, that's
Oh, that was the question.
well, no.
Well, go ahead with the question.
Always the answer, Lord. Always the answer. But we're talking. You're speaking now today's language of English, and what I'm thinking is that, Idris, you mentioned the prophets. You mentioned the prophets of old, Jesus and Muhammad and all those prophets who came, and therefore the religion or that path was named after each of those prophets that came.
Well, the people called them,
Right.
identified them as, like somebody might say, this is the way of Deen,
Yeah.
you know, religion of Deen, but it's not the religion of Deen. The religion of Deen, Holy-Apostle Deen, can only be in Holy-Apostle Deen.
Right.
You see, the religion of Jesus can't be in me.
Right.
Because Jesus is not in me. Jesus is not in you. I don't care what people say. Oh, I got Jesus in me. Jesus is not in them people. Jesus is a human being that cannot be at all places at all times.
Right.
See, Jesus is limited. But the Lord El is in all places at all times, within all things, permeating all things, you know, with all things within it, in the essence of it, you know.
Right.
So it's the religion chosen by El, the way of life chosen by El. Or you could say it's the religion of El, meaning what? The religion of that which is within you.
Right.
In its essence. You know, because it's the mind of this whole, of all the universal creations, which is mental, which is something beyond us. You know, mentality is a world, just like reality is a world.
Right.
You know, universality is a world. You know, that itty is something of a world, something of a part, a unit broke down. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, as I was going, when Ahezaah calls, it's the chosen religion for each individual. For each individual, the chosen religion that each individual is called to sincerely seek to follow.
Here's the key. The Lord El, in all his names of the Lord of the throne, because El is one, and the Lord of the throne is one. But people look at it as many because of its many names, its many identifications. You see, I'm not going to call the Lord El by Brahma because I don't speak that language so much so. It didn't identify itself to me to call it as such.
Okay.
I called it Allah. When I was a child under my father, I called it Christ. And I called it the Father of Jesus. That's what I was told. But when Ahezaah itself drew me up into places of its universes beyond where I had known and spoke to me, it identified itself in the name of Allah and Brahma and many other names that I had never heard before. And it identified many of its prophets. Of course, as a young child at 7 years old, I forgot those things a lot, you know, but I remember the situation that I was put in and the major words that was said to me. And what it said to me was, I have chosen for you the religion of Islam. Muhammad was my messenger prophet.
Right.
Jesus was my messenger prophet. I am the one they call the father of Jesus because that's what my father called it. So the Lord spoke to me in the most identifiable language that I knew. You see?
Yes.
So now when I came back and I started talking this language, my mother was the first to reject and say, shut up. Don't you say that. where you get that talk from. And when I tried to tell her my experience at 7 years old, she said, boy, don't you tell nobody that ever. They're going to lock you up. They're going to say you crazy. So me trusting my mother, I took a pact with the devil. I said, not knowingly.
Right. Okay.
Unknowingly, I took a pact with the devil of my own self. Well, I'm not going to say it, but I'm going to believe it. I'm going to keep it to myself, but I'm never going to turn away from you. I'm never going to forget you. I didn't know at that time the Lord wanted me to go out and speak these words so much so, but I didn't want to be left alone without friends. I didn't want to be left alone with my mother's anger, or her fear, because she was afraid what people was going to say. Which they did in turn do exactly what she said they would do. They ostracized me. They said I was out of my mind. They turned me away and even told me that I couldn't deal with their children. So I hid it and forgot about Allah and went through hell because of it. Until I was, about 19 years old when I turned back to Ahezaah and said, no, the hell with the people and the hell with the world. I can't live like this. I will die and go to hell if I stay like this. So I had to turn back to my conversation with the Lord.
Right.
You see?
Yes.
And then come up to the way. Now I understand. Speak this language in the language of your heart, the language that it gave, that Ahezaah gave to you from your soul. And understand that El is the Lord. El is the Ah and the Hu. Right. The breath and the essence that created all things. It is the one of the many names and the innumerable attributes. Don't get locked in with men saying that it is limited to a number, 100. You can't limit El to any one thing. So what it has done, it has expanded for us again.
Right.
Because everything in creation expands and contracts.
Right.
It comes in and it goes out. It's like breathing. And that's the way the religion is. So now it is expanding its religion for us again by giving us explanations about what Muhammad said and what Jesus said, what Lao Shu said, what Amenhotep said, what Akhenaten said, what Idris said, and so forth and so on. You understand? It is expanding that for us again this day in English, defying what the Arabs amongst the Muslims said about it can't be taught in any other language. They are liars.
So like I said, people many times, who fight going back in these wars going on between Christianity and Islam, Judaism, they all taking sides. And then Ahezaah bring one forth like yourself in truth, like it did with Jesus and Muhammad and them. And the language was pure, but the people had a hard time because they had crystallized their religion.
Whose side are they taking?
The side of the devil, of course.
There you go. You got a side over here. You got a side over there. You got a side over there. You got a side. You got all kinds of sides. But where's the side of Allah at? Where's the side of El at? El has no side.
Right.
If it has a side, that means it has limitations.
Right.
You can't get on the side of Allah, the side of El. Where's its end at? It is infinite. It is eternal. So how you gonna get on the side of it? Everything about this creation is El. So it's like you got to get into its mindset where it chooses for you to be. Its mindset of the real, of the life of the real, the reality. Right. So when men put names that they choose then on the religion, then that immediately the Lord El is not in support of them. So now you have created a new faction of religion, a false religion, the religion of the devil. You understand what I'm saying? Since 1979, I've been speaking publicly to people and privately. I spoke to people in status, very high status, people amongst the jinn that run this government, that was running rules of New Jersey. I've had doctors and lawyers and all kinds of people sit under me for teaching spirituality, as well as laymen and people who come from places like the projects where I come from. People with PhDs and everything else who were amazed. How could you hold court with an audience of psychiatrists, psychologists, theologists? How could you do that when you have no high school education? I got the greater education, the divine education. It's not my information.
Right.
The Lord is passing this information on. You see? Yeah. So there's no side to it. What you will find if you get into it, whether you come into it positively or negatively, hopefully you come into it positively, because if you come into it negatively, you will be crushed by it. If you come into it, you will find that it is infinite. It is eternal. So my enemies who've come to me to defeat me in my trying to give them truth, because people come in competition, even when I'm not, in line to be competed against.
Right.
When you come into this, you will find yourself lost in the infinite. Because I might be limited in what I'm given to say to you, don't mean that what the giver, the source of giving is not limited. Ahezaah itself, it's not limited. It could give me anything it wants. I have learned through my experiences to not ask.
Right.
You got to be mindful and careful of what you ask for.
Right.
I've learned not to ask. My first question to it, when it came unto me in this last coming, because it came into me, like I said, when I was a child. But in my adulthood, when it was time for me to take my position, which I am in now, my first question was the same as all fools, because I was a fool. Right. I wanted to know the great thing. How are you? How do you exist? There's no greater question than that. How is it that you exist? Huh?
Yes.
I want to know. How, where you come from, where you are. I want to pinpoint a center for me.
Okay.
So I can identify. Okay, this is El. This is Allah. I got it now. Shoot, man.
Back to that no sides thing.
It threw me somewhere. It put me in what we call the void of life, the place where nothing exists but it in all its power. And it took me 8 years to understand that answer. and the thing about it, the ironic thing about it was I walked around for 8 years and wouldn't tell nobody what was wrong with me. When I thought about the question, I would tremble, thinking about where it took me. I thought it was chastising me. When it took me to that void where there's no floor, no ceiling, no walls, no nothing, no mind, no sound, just emptiness, and it's just you, man, I was terrified. Imagine yourself falling and not falling, going and not going, being and not being. I mean, just irrationally alive. I was terrified, and it took me 8 years, and I was going to an audience, a group, a spiritual group, and I was going to speak to them. And as I was going there, and I sat down because we had another guy speaking at a bookstore. I was sitting down outside the bookstore, and the answer came to me. Pow! I jumped up, and I said, "That's it." Everybody looked at me because, I interrupted the guy speaking. That's it. And they said, "What is it, Dean?" I said, "Allah. It exists alone." And they looked at me like, we know that. And I looked at them and seeing how they looked at me like, what is this fool saying? And I just shook my head and said, "No. You heard it exists alone.
It's a big difference.
You don't know how it exists alone."
Right. Big difference.
Huh? Yes. You don't know. Right. You heard, but you don't know. I know to a large degree, not absolutely, huh? But to the degree that I could handle, that it let me handle. I know how it exists alone. So see, you can ask for something, and you could be like a lot of these fools walking around here like donkeys, huh? Got a bunch of books on their back, carrying, acting like they got knowledge. Huh? They full of information, like they want information. They want the knowledge of Islam so they can go out there and blast people away. Knowledge without experience. That's like a book, like a gun going to war with blanks in it. You got bullets, but they blanks. You know, you getting out there, ain't nobody falling. You know what I'm saying? There's a big difference, man, in knowing, living knowledge and then information. You know? So when that came to me, I mean, like, I was amazed. It was 8 years. It took me 8 years it was like I was put on boil, right? And it took me 8 years to simmer down, to cool down, for me to be able to look and say, it exists alone. How do it exist? Alone. Where do it exist? Alone.
You can't put a zip code or nothing on it. Yes.
When do it exist? Alone and forever. Forever was and forever will be.
Wow.
What is forever? We can't fathom it. So should we want to know about Ahezaah? Should we want to know about that? No, we don't. We shouldn't want to know about that. We should want to know about His commandments.
Right.
That's all we need to know. What it is that it want us to do and do it.
And the tremendous mercy that Ahezaah gives us by sending us a messenger for the times that it constantly sends messengers with those commandments, clear and language that we can handle. You know, something that's a tremendous mercy. I appreciate that story.
You said something very, very deep, and I thank Ahezaah for that you said that, and that is information that you could handle.
Yeah.
Because it's very important that you be able to handle the information. You know what I mean? You know that there's a lot of educated fools that look at me and try to size me up.
Yeah.
And they figure, okay, let me go study a little bit, then I'm gonna go bust this brother down.
I know many.
I knew a brother who used to bring brothers to the community. He'd find the heaviest brothers he could find and bring them to the community so that they could bust me down. And they walk through the door, Salaam alaikum, with their lying behind selves. They liars, come in there talking about may the peace be upon you. You come in here to battle me and you saying Salaam alaikum to me.
Right.
And my Lord say, here's one right here. This is the deal with him. Boo, 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 boo. And I'm smiling at him. Boo, 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 boo. The Lord telling me all about the individual. And they coming to do battle. They don't know what they coming to battle with. They think they coming to battle with a man, and they coming to battle with Allah.
Yeah.
They coming to, not even the angels of Allah, they coming to battle with El. Huh? Yeah. And when they find this out, they find that I take this position. Oh, you think he God? No, I think I'm beyond God. Huh? Right. I'm beyond God. I'm beyond all the gods you know.
That's it.
I'm with El. And El has raised me beyond your gods.
Right.
Huh? And I don't think that I'm El in the way that you might think that I think I'm El. Like El said to me, I am you and you are me. Yet you are not me and you could never be me. And I understood. And that's all I need. And I never tried to explain that. If you want to understand it, ask El for the explanation.
I'm laughing because Ahezaah get the same thing to Jesus when it said, he who has seen me has seen the Father. Then why say show me the Father? Because you can't really handle Ahezaah in its totality and showing itself to you. But you see me as a manifestation, as a sign of Allah. And people want to battle the signs.
Right.
You know, and that's what we were talking about before. Me and Brother Fat Kid was conversing, that people want to go beyond the sign to come to the reality. Now want to take to follow the steps or the path in the way, in the way of righteousness now, because people want to circumvent. And Allah says, what in the Quran? It guides right and it guides straight. For many years, I sat back and pondered, how do Ahezaah guide you astray? And Ahezaah broke it down when it sent the writing through you that those who want to circumvent His laws that come in the way, in the selfishness, in the ego, then I would guide them and I would give them a partner to go with them in the evil and make it seem fair seeming like they're going right. I said, oh Allah. And
one of the writers, it was Ahezaah in that newsletter, Lord, put it with regards to your intentions. It started
back to the whole thing with intentions.
You know, your intentions right, Ahezaah guides you right. Your intentions wrong.
See, this is one thing that people fail to realize, that Ahezaah, Allah, El, L is the definite article of everything that is. It comes in many names, many attributes. I mean, innumerable attributes. We don't know all his names. We don't know all his attributes. To know all his names and to know all his attributes is to know it in completeness. Nobody and nothing could know it in completeness, because that means our minds or whatever it is that know it, is it completely? Because, you know, it is the great knower of itself. And nothing that it creates, it is created without limitations.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, you know, it's not for us to play with that, but see, it is the great reality of the devil.
Yeah.
See, that's why I say brothers be saying things, sisters be saying things, and they don't even recognize the fact that they give power to the devil when they listen to them ministers. I'm like, yeah, the devil did it. The devil ain't did nothing.
Right.
Huh? The Lord says that man cannot defeat the devil, the doer of evil. The doer of evil is the man himself. The doer of evil is all things that's created of evil. The doer of good is the things that put those things in evil in order and make them harmonize in righteousness. Huh? That's why I said in one of our previous shows, without Allah, what am I? I ain't nothing but evil. If it don't put me in harmony with its good, with its righteous being, with the spirit and the essence and the elements of righteousness, then what am I? But a thing of evil. Huh? It is the one that gives power and life and light and breath and essence and matter to everything that is. So all praise is due to it and to nothing else. All credit recognition is due to it. When we want to announce something, we announce it.
Right.
It is beyond the gods that's created in the minds of man. Be much further, but you can't describe it. So we don't give power to nothing else. So when the devil come to me, I laughed at him. And I said, oh Allah, I know you got the power to give me the tear this thing up. Oh, I was speaking my language, my street language back there. I want to kick it, you know. And then it came to me. My guardian angel just whispered something to me, and I said, "Oh, wait a minute. I can't defeat the devil. Not in the order that Ahezaah give it as an angel. I'm a man. That fallen angel is still an angel created above me. I can't crush it like a bug." Let me sit back. How do I defeat it? I defeat it by giving myself up to the winner.
Right.
To the successful.
Right.
I defeat it by giving myself up to the victor. Ahezaah, the victor. Now I'm with the victor, so I'm a winner. You know, brothers and sisters in the stands, hail to my team. We won.
Right.
I'm with Allah, the winner. And the devil can't deal with that. See, I haven't had to wrestle with the devil in almost 30 years now. I haven't had to wake up and, you know, worrying about the devil or in a cold sweat or, oh man, the devil making me do something. I ain't had to do that. My Lord took my devil and threw it into hell, into the abyss. Transformed it and brought it back. Made it subservient to it. My devil serves Allah in righteousness. Yeah. You want to mess with me, I put my devil on you.
Who of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you